For generations, the Disney princesses have inspired girls and women all around the world. Their kindness, bravery, compassion, determination, curiosity, intelligence, and inner beauty have inspired others to follow their dreams. Some of those dreamers decided to fulfill their dream of becoming real-life princesses and creators of magic. We became party princesses, and these are our stories. Today, you will meet Caitlyn Alexandra, a solo performer on her way to becoming a company CEO. All right, Blondies, so in today's Meet a Princess segment, we are here with Caitlyn. A difference between Katie last week, oh my gosh, I get stumbled with the names. The difference between Katie last week, Katie is actually the owner of Falling Star Parties, if you haven't seen that video, but Caitlyn today is a solo performer on her way of starting out that company. So first off, Caitlyn, my first question for you is, when and why did you start princessing?
So, I started performing in 2015, I believe. And back then, I had no idea that this was even a thing. I actually, I have been volunteering with a couple of I was volunteering with one nonprofit then. I have now since started volunteering with another, but my mom's friend actually suggested, she was like, you know, Caitlyn does so well with all her costumes and she's so great with kids, she should do some kind of like company or something. And I mentioned it to a couple of my friends in a Facebook group, and one of them was like, oh my god, Caitlyn, I have a friend who owns a princess company and she's looking for people to audition, you should go do this. So I went to the audition and I got in, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, the princess community is a real thing, this is awesome. So yeah, I got into it in 2015. I worked for that company for 3 years until they unfortunately had to close, and then I worked with another one for 2 years until this past January. So that's how I got in. There isn't really a why. I love performing, I love interacting with kids, and I love princesses. So I guess that's my why.
Absolutely, that's beautiful. Everybody has a different reason why, as simple as it could be. All right, so for the moment, like I mentioned, you are a solo artist and performer, but I know that you have company plans for the future. How are those company plans looking into, like, you know, this short term? Do you see yourself opening up a company this year, or tell me about those plans?
So I do, like I was saying, so actually I've kind of, ever since that, even back then, like before my mom's friend even was like, hey, she should look into this because she's so good at, you know, whatever. I have always had it kind of like on the back burner of my mind, like, you know, I think this would be a really good thing for me to do, since, you know, I always felt like I love kids so much. I love being able to interact with them, especially in no matter what costume I'm in, because I also do superheroes, so it's always been really fun and really rewarding. So I've always just had like, I really want to run my own company one day, like for like 5 or 6 years, and I just never seem, the timing has just been really bad. I've always had, you know, either personal things happening, or it's just like a money issue or whatever. And of course, you know, I am, like you said, I'm a solo performer. That actually kind of started out right when COVID hit, because we weren't able to do in-person stuff anymore. So I kind of opened my own my freelance page. I put up a Facebook page and did virtual things from my house, and it kind of took off a little, and I was like, you know what, this is going pretty well. I think, you know, this has kind of been the kick in the butt I needed, and it's going from there. I'm going through all the emotions of getting myself registered as a company. So right now I still have my freelance page up and I'm working through that, but I'm going to be going through a name change. I'm working on a website. I'm going to be, doing all the business stuff you need to become legal. And hopefully as I grow, I will be able to hire more performers because, I would love to offer the whole lineup one day, especially princesses, like Tiana, Moana, obviously princesses I cannot portray myself, but they're very popular. But they're also like, especially Tiana, I love her. She's very near and dear to my heart. I love her story because my mom's side of the family is from Louisiana. So when that movie came out, I was so just like seeing it in animated form. I immediately knew what streets they were drawing, where things were, and I get that whole family vibe feel, especially with the cooking, because I live off my mom's Southern cooking and my family's Southern cooking and everything. And so I would love to offer her as a princess one day. I just need to get the ball rolling.
No worries whatsoever. Obviously, like, making a company is a very big struggle. I know I struggled with my process for about 2 years, and I was always looking for that right timing until one day I just said, hey, just close your eyes and start doing this, because it is what it is. All right. So, oh my gosh, I love that. You love Tiana. That is such a unique answer. So cute. I love that. All right. So obviously, besides being a princess, what do you think is the best part about being a princess? What's the best part of our job?
So yes, besides being a princess, I mean, who doesn't love dressing up in gigantic ball gowns and things like that? But it's the kids, 100%. I mean, being able, like you said, to not only dress up as a princess, but when you are a princess and you show up to a kid's party, or, obviously right now doing virtual things, but it's still like a virtual party, and they have no idea you're coming. I love it when it's a surprise, like the parents hire you as a surprise. Just that look of like mixed shock and joy and like disbelief that, oh my gosh, my favorite princess in the world is here at my party. How is this happening? And it's an amazing feeling. Like every time that happens, I just like get all like butterflies in my stomach, like, oh my gosh, they're so happy. And sometimes just the little kids will tell you things or just want to hug on you the whole time, and it almost makes you want to cry. Like I've had some times where I just like, hold it in, you can't cry, keep the smile on. and also that's one of the things that I really miss right now, just being able to get hugs from kids. It's been a tough like almost 2 years now. And it's crazy, but hopefully things will kind of start to drift back to a semi-normal thing. But it's definitely 100% the kids.
I absolutely love that. And you're right. It's so different especially when kids, it happens here a lot in Puerto Rico. Some kids have never ever traveled to the Disney parks. So when parents hire the princesses and they get to see that, you're the first impression that they get. It's not walking into Magic Kingdom. You're the first impression that they get. And that is obviously so heart-filling. So I know about those wanting to cry moments on the job. We already covered the best part about our job. What do you think is your biggest struggle?
So, right now, even though, I'm getting, I guess you'd call them events because they're still virtual, but like you said, I am starting the business aspect of it. And I think that is the biggest struggle for me because the past like almost 7 years, I've only been a performer. And, I've been with the first company I was with, I was very close and helped my boss out a lot. I did wigs for her. I made accessories, things like that. And we were pretty close and like had a great connection. So I did see a lot of the business side, but I wasn't running it. So I'm learning very quickly how difficult it is to put together your own business. But it's also kind of rewarding in itself to like say, I'm doing this, it's hard, but this is mine, and nobody can really take that away. I'm still, it's definitely difficult learning everything that comes along with even building a business. Like I said, I'm having to build a website. Good thing my boyfriend is tech savvy, otherwise I would be lost. I'm running my social media, which, that's not hard. I've been on Facebook and Instagram forever, but, and also just trying to like get my name out there. Luckily I have a lot of friends with kids and I'm like, please share, please, anything. But yeah, it's just basically building up that clientele, but also, like I said, doing everything to get properly licensed, to understand how you're going to need to work with your state, getting everything business right before you really start out, because you don't want to get caught unawares.
Oh no, that is very true. And it's good that you're doing everything. Like it is a very hard process, believe me. I still struggle with it today, but it's great that you're doing everything how it's supposed to be. Now, I want to know, we already know that you have a love for Tiana. Is she your favorite princess, or is there another princess that really has stolen your heart?
So she is definitely my top 5. Okay. But I have a 3-way tie for my favorite princess. So in this order, it's Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, Belle, and Anna. And I'm surprised. I'm very surprised in myself that Anna is up there, because as a performer, when I first started out, that's when the first Frozen came out. So it's like I started, all we had was Frozen parties. So I was either Elsa or Anna all the time, mainly Anna. And it just got to that point where you're like, oh, again. But Belle really holds like a huge portion of my heart. I remember going to see Beauty and the Beast when it was first released in theaters. That's a tip right there about how old I really am. I was Belle for Halloween in kindergarten. My mom made her gold dress for me. I still have it, so I'm gonna keep that. Hopefully, if I have a daughter, she'll be able to wear that too. But I really relate to her, just like in a huge way. She's always seen as like the odd one, the weird one. She's very headstrong. She's gonna say what she's gonna say. She's gonna do what she wants to do. And of course she has a giant love for reading, and I'm a bookworm. Like as a kid, I was just going through books all the time. It's a little bit harder now that I'm an adult, because you have adulting to do. Gotta pay the bills, gotta do this, gotta do that. But I still love reading books so much. And but as I've grown older, Aurora has become a huge favorite of mine, because her movie Sleeping Beauty is actually my favorite princess movie, just because the music, the classic animation, like the way they did everything back then is just incredibly beautiful. But she also has that just kind of classic elegance, and she's a big dreamer, and she just kind of dreams more outside. She doesn't know she's a princess yet, but she dreams more for herself outside of just living in that little cottage, and I love it. And I don't know, it's just 3-way tie. And it's just, Belle and Anna kind of share that same personality. Except Anna has that kind of a clumsy streak, which I definitely have.
Definitely. Aurora was my favorite growing up. Obviously, nowadays it is Rapunzel, but Aurora was definitely up there. So when I find people that love Aurora, I'm like, yes, because her elegance is just like it doesn't have comparison
You are an
whatsoever.
adorable Rapunzel. I love your Rapunzel.
I absolutely love Rapunzel. She fills my heart with so much joy, and I relate to her beyond so many levels. So I get you. I am always trying to be like that bright, positive personality, but I also have my moments like when she goes out of her tower for the first time, that she has that mix of emotions that change from zero to hero. That's literally me all the time. So I relate to her a lot in that sense. Now, is your favorite dress to wear one of those 3 dresses, or is your favorite dress from another princess?
So, out of the dresses that I personally own, my favorites are Belle's gold ball gown and Queen Anna. There's just something about being in a ball gown, I guess, that's just, I don't know, addictive. But I think one of the reasons Belle's ball gown is like that scene where you see her coming down the staircase. Like, that's always gonna be my favorite princess moment, and it's so iconic, and it's just like in Cinderella when you see the transformation. That's got to be one of my favorite pieces of animation. I think even Walt Disney himself said that's probably his favorite piece of animation. And then the Queen Anna gown just like blew my mind when I saw it, and when I got
so grown up.
I know. When I got everything together and put everything on for the first time, I almost cried. Like, I don't know why, but I just felt so, I don't know, royal or I don't know. I was just like, oh, Anna's all grown up.
All right, so we're already off to our last question, which is, obviously, being a princess performer and witnessing magic firsthand, because we see this all the time, what do you think are top qualities that a woman nowadays can have to be a true princess?
So I actually made a few notes, but this question hit different, but also kind of like hit well for me. So of course, you know, a lot of the things every princess performer, can't talk, you know, around the world, no matter where we are, like you're in Puerto Rico, I'm in the States, there's companies in, you know, Brazil and Germany, everywhere, but we always try and instill the same things in the children that we're performing for, and, you know, like kindness, patience, and of course I think those are very important, but I definitely think, as well as kindness and patience, we really need to teach love and acceptance, especially in today's world. I know that sounds super cheesy, but, you know, growing up today in today's world is very different than how, well, it's the same, but it's different from when I was growing up. It's my world when I was growing up was not as politically correct, but I went through some of the same. I could have used a little more kindness and acceptance, because I grew up with 2 disorders, and one caused me to have seizures, and they happen sometimes in front of my classmates, and I did have some friends who were accepting, but I got made fun of. I had fallen down in front of classmates. Sometimes I had to use wheelchairs or crutches to help me get around, and I was made fun of for that. And I think, you know, like I said, kindness and acceptance are a really big thing nowadays with everything that has been going on, whether it has to do with race, religion, you know, disabilities. Kids kids who are going through difficult times with things like sexual orientation, anything like that. I think we need to teach children to not judge and not look at somebody differently. We just need to teach them that no matter what another child their age, or even somebody they know, whether they're adult or like teen or whatever, they need to be looked at just as if they're anybody else, and they need to be accepted and know that there's somebody there for them, because I wish I had had that growing up myself.
Absolutely. And I love that. Acceptance is something that, you're right, we need nowadays, and these kids are our future generations. So acceptance is something that must be taught, and it must be reinforced. So I absolutely love that. I loved spending these few minutes with you today, Caitlyn. Obviously, everybody, please follow Caitlyn's social media, which will be linked down below. And obviously, the Happy Blonde channel and the Pixie Dusted family as well. And stay tuned for every single Meet a Princess video, because these will continue to be a thing. And now they're going to be hopefully twice a month, because it has just been so popular. There are so many princesses out there, and I want you all to meet them. So thank you all for coming today, and I will see you all in the next one.
Thank you.